AI that has the potential to have various trajectories to have an impact on human civilization. How do you think AI will change us?
If you're talking about, generative AI, large language models, things like ChatGPT and its soon successors, and these are incredibly powerful technologies. To believe otherwise is to bury your head in the sand, soon to be even more powerful. It's interesting to me that that large language models in their current form are not inventions, they're discoveries. The telescope was an invention, but looking through it at Jupiter, knowing that it had moons was a discovery.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my God, it has moons. And that's what Galileo did. And so this is closer on that spectrum of invention. We know exactly what happens with a 787. It's an engineered object. We designed it. We know how it behaves. We don't want any surprises. Large language models are much more like discoveries. We're constantly getting surprised by their capabilities. They're not really engineered objects. Then, you have this debate about whether they're going to be good for humanity or bad for humanity. Even specialized AI can be very bad for humanity. I mean, it's just regular machine learning models that can make, certain weapons of war that could be incredibly destructive and very powerful. And they're not general AIs. They could just be very smart weapons. And so we have to think about all of those things. I'm very optimistic about this. So even in the face of all this uncertainty, my own view is that these powerful tools are much more likely to help us and save us even than they are to, on balance, hurt us and destroy us. I think, we humans have a lot of ways of, we can make ourselves go extinct. These things may help us not do that.
Mm-hmm.
So they may actually save us. So the people who are, overly concerned, in my view, overly concerned. It's a valid debate. I think that they may be missing part of the equation, which is how helpful they could be in making sure we don't destroy ourselves. I don't know if you saw the movie Oppenheimer,
Mm-hmm.
but to me, first of all, I loved the movie, and I thought the best part of the movie is this bureaucrat played by Robert Downey Jr., who, some of the people I've talked to think that's the most boring part of the movie. I thought it was the most fascinating, because what's going on here is you realize we have invented these awesome, destructive, powerful technologies called nuclear weapons, and they are managed, and we humans we're not really capable of wielding those weapons.
Yeah.
That's what he represented in that movie. Is here's this guy who is he wrongly thinks, he's like being so petty. He thinks that Oppenheimer said something bad to Einstein about him. They didn't talk about him at all, as you find out in the final scene of the movie. And yet he's spent his career trying to be vengeful and petty. And that's the problem. We as a species are not really sophisticated enough and mature enough to handle these technologies. And so, and by the way, before you get to general AI and the possibility of AI having agency, and there's a lot of things that would have to happen, but there's so much benefit that's going to come from these technologies in the meantime, even before they're, general AI, in terms of better medicines and better tools to develop more technologies and so on. So I think it's an incredible moment to be alive and to witness the transformations that are going to happen. How quickly it will happen, no one knows. But over the next 10 years and 20 years, I think we're going to see really remarkable advances. And I personally am very excited about it.
First of all, really interesting to say that it's discoveries that it's true that we don't know the limits of what's possible with the current language models.
We don't.
And like it could be a few tricks and hacks here and there that open doors to whole entire new possibilities.
We do know that humans are doing something different from these models, in part because, we're so power efficient. The human brain does remarkable things, and it does it on about 20 watts of power. And, the AI techniques we use today use many kilowatts of power to do equivalent tasks. So there's something interesting about the way the human brain does this. And also, we don't need as much data. So, like self-driving cars they have to drive billions and billions of miles to try and to learn how to drive. And, your average 16-year-old figures it out with many fewer miles. So there are still some tricks, I think, that we have yet to learn. I don't think we've learned the last trick. I don't think it's just a question of scaling things up. But what's interesting is that just scaling things up, and I put just in quotes because it's actually hard to scale things up, but just scaling things up also appears to pay huge dividends.
Yeah, and it's there's some more nuanced aspect about human beings that's interesting if it's able to accomplish, like being truly original and novel, to large language models being able to come up with some truly new ideas. That's one, and the other one is truth. It seems that large language models are very good at sounding like they're saying a true thing, but they don't require or often have a grounding in sort of a mathematical truth. It basically is a very good bullshitter. So if there's not enough data, if there's not enough sort of data in the training data about a particular topic, it's just going to concoct accurate sounding narratives, which is a very fascinating problem to try to solve. How do you get language models to infer what is true and not, to sort of introspect?
Yeah, they need to be taught to say, I don't know, more often.
Yeah.
And I know several humans who could be taught that as well.
Sure. And then the other stuff, because you're still a bit involved in the Amazon side with the AI things, the other open question is what kind of products are created from this?
Oh, so many.
Yeah.
I mean, we have Alexa and Echo, and Alexa has, hundreds of millions of installed base, inputs. And so there's Alexa everywhere. And guess what? Alexa is about to get a lot smarter.
Yeah.
And so that's really, from a product point of view, that's super exciting.
There's so many opportunities there.
So many opportunities. Shopping assistant, like all that stuff is amazing. In AWS, we're building Titan, which is our foundational model. We're also building Bedrock, which our corporate clients at AWS, our enterprise clients, they want to be able to use these powerful models with their own corporate data, without accidentally contributing their corporate data to that model.
Yes.
And so those are the tools we're building for them with Bedrock. So there's tremendous opportunity here.
Yeah, the security, the privacy, all those things are fascinating, of how to, because so much value can be gained by training on private data, but you want to keep this secure. It's a fascinating technical problem.
This is a very challenging technical problem, and it's one that we're making progress on and dedicated to solving for our customers.
Do you think there will be a day when humans and robots, maybe Alexa, have a romantic relationship, like in the movie Her?
Well, I mean, I think if you look at
brainstorming products here,
if you look at the spectrum of human variety and what people like, sexual variety.
Yes.
There are people who like everything. So the answer to your question has to be yes.
Okay.
I don't know.
I guess I'm asking.
I don't know how widespread that will be.
All right.
But it will happen.
I was just asking when for a friend, but it's all right. I was just moving on.